I'm not used to making this kind of video on my channel. I'm not a theory YouTuber by any means. I've never done any kind of video like this. I've never thought about doing a video like this, but I think I found something in both Security Breach and Ruin, and a very big connection between two of the endings in Security Breach that I would like to share. But before I get started, a quick disclaimer: I have not watched any of Game Theory's Ruin videos or any of his gameplay. I'm reserving that for after I find all the endings. I've only found one of the 3 endings. I know how to get to the other 2, but haven't had the time to record it. I have done everything in my power to avoid spoilers. Everything! So, this theory is coming straight from me, not using any other outside source, well, other than confirming a few specifics by looking them up, or watching gameplay of Security Breach, but everything from Ruin, that's coming from me. So, with that, let's get into it. There is one confirmed canon ending in Security Breach, and that would be the Burn Trap ending. That has been confirmed as canon. We kill Afton again. However, I think there are actually 2 canon endings. And not only are there 2, but they actually both happen one right after the other. Which means you have the Burn Trap ending, where Afton is destroyed, Gregory and Freddy escape, and then you have the Vanny bad ending, where Freddy is torn limb from limb, and so is Vanny. I think both endings are true and happen one after the other. So let's hop into that. So first, let's address the big elephant in the room: the collapse. In Ruin, we see that the Pizzaplex has obviously seen better days. It's covered in trash. It's obviously been abandoned for a year or 2. The whole place is a mess. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I hate it. I hate it. Get me out of here. Why is that there? Who put that there? What developer thought that'd be a good idea? Let me at him. I'll kill him. I'll take his bones. Excuse me. I have anxiety about those things. So yeah, the Pizzaplex is in shambles. However, I don't think that collapse is the same collapse we see in the Burn Trap ending. Instead, I think there was an earthquake afterwards. Actually, I don't just think, I know there was a earthquake afterwards. You can see it in some of the newspapers that you can find on the map, where it says that it was an earthquake that was responsible for destroying the Pizzaplex. I don't think Fazbear Entertainment could pull a cover-up of that scale. Remember, Fazbear Entertainment lives in a fairly urban area. The reason I say this is because A, the number of visitors that they have, B, the size of the building, and C, the fact that Cassie probably rode her bike to the Pizzaplex. I doubt her mom dropped her off at this abandoned building and said, "Go have fun, sweetie." Mom? Mother? Because they're living in a fairly urban area, there would be a lot more witnesses to an earthquake. I don't think there's any way Fazbear Entertainment could have convinced the general public that the reason their building was destroyed was because there was an earthquake. It just doesn't work that way. There would be thousands of other people who would have straight up said that there was no earthquake. Remember, Roxy Raceway was built over a sinkhole. An angry tectonic plate and building over a hole aren't the same thing. Only the Pizzaplex would have been affected. The rest of the area would still be fine. But if there was an earthquake, everyone would know about it. So I don't think Fazbear Entertainment was able to create a cover-up about an earthquake. I think the earthquake really did happen, but at a different point in time. The collapse we see during the Burn Trap ending is not the collapse of the Pizzaplex, it's the collapse of Roxy Raceway, which, based on the size of the building, would probably only affect Roxy Raceway, but the majority of the building would actually still be fine, and thus, Fazer Blast would still be fine. Now let's address the obvious evidence in support of my theory, where we find Freddy in Ruin. We find him in Fazer Blast. He's just there. Why would he be in Phasor Blast in the condition he's in? Next thing I want to mention is his upgrades. When we watch the Vanny Bad ending cutscene, we see that he has Monty's Claws. However, you don't actually need Monty's Claws to achieve that ending. It's entirely possible to leave those out. The only requirement for that ending is that you have been to Phasor Blast at least once and found Vanny's room. Then when it turns to 6 o'clock and you have the option to leave, stay, or fight Vanny, that's where the fight Vanny option appears in the first place. But then in the cutscene, why does Freddy have Monty's Claws? It is possible to face Vanny after 6 o'clock, where you can go and get your hands on the claws. But it's completely unnecessary to do this. It is also possible to have gone for Monty's Claws first, and then after 6 o'clock, go back through Phasor Blast and find Vanny's room. However, it's still weird that he does indeed have the claws in this ending, especially when you didn't get them. Why is this important? Because in order to get to Burn Trap, you need both Chica's voice box and Monty's claws. You need his claws to get there. The only reason he would have those claws in the first place would be for him to go and fight Burn Trap. Now let's talk about the condition of Freddy's body. And this is also very, very important. During the Vanny Bad ending, we see Freddy torn apart by the staff bots. And then in comic form, we are shown the aftermath. We see his chest ripped open and jagged shards of metal and potentially plastic. I don't know. Who knows what these things are made of? Remnant! Remnant! No. We see jagged shards of metal facing all directions, looking almost like teeth. Looking almost like Freddy.
Freddy? Are you
Wait.
okay? Be functional.
That's not Freddy! Yeah, that. Why would his chest be in this identical condition if he never fought Vanny in the first place? While we're on the topic of Freddy, where is his head? Like seriously, what happened to this man's head? I think I have an idea. During the final chase scene of the game, where Cassie is running from the Mimic in the bowels... the bowels... we hear Gregory tell us that his friend knows the layout of the Pizzaplex, and more specifically, the lower area of the Pizzaplex, and proceeds to tell us how to escape. However, it wasn't Gregory's friend that tells us, it was still Gregory. This is an emergency situation. Why would you be playing the telephone game with someone sitting in the room with you? Where do I go next?
Hey, buddy, which way does she go next?
Tell her to go right.
What?
I said, tell her to go right. I think my friend said you're all right. I think his friend is Freddy, but not all of Freddy. I think it's only Freddy's head. If we look at the ending, we see that it's in bad condition and that Freddy has essentially died. But if Gregory took Freddy's head with him, he might have been able to plug it into a computer and bring up the map of the Pizzaplex. Though Freddy might not be able to talk or communicate, his information and data is still there. His memory is still there. Now let's step away from Freddy for a moment. Now let's talk about Vanny. During the Burn Trap ending, where the heck was Vanny? Vanny thought that we had already left, thus she returned to her room in Phasor Blast. I think the collapse of Roxy Raceway woke her up and prompted her to set an ambush, which we see work out quite flawlessly with the death of Freddy. What she didn't plan on was Gregory getting his hands on the controller and ordering the bots to, disassemble Vanny, as they say. So in conclusion, I think both endings are canon, and that first, Burn Trap is killed, Gregory and Freddy escape to immediately go face Vanny in Phasor Blast. During the engagement, as we all know, and as I've already said many times by now, Freddy is killed, Vanny is killed, and Gregory survives. Gregory then takes Freddy's head with him as he escapes and recovers all the information, memories, and maps of the Pizzaplex. Now, before we end the video, I did want to mention that despite me constantly saying the Vanny bad ending is the second canon one, that might not fully be the case. The disassembling of Freddy, I think, is canon. It's just there's a good chance it could also be the Princess Quest ending, as that takes place after Freddy's been disassembled. So for the video, because I thought of it first, I was using the Vanny bad ending, but it could still be the good ending. Just wanted to mention that before you click away.